Hello, I'm Jeremy. That is SP3. It is FMC. Look how happy this man is after last night. Do you have a song this week? Do you want to praise Lord LeBron? Do you want to praise Austin, him, Reeves? Do you want to praise Mr. Fourth Quarter, D'Angelo, Ice Russell? Do you want to praise Anthony Defensive Davis? Who else? Who else we got out there? I feel I did a good job with the names there. I think SP3. I feel like I did a good job there.
Excellent.
Roy Hachimura.
Rui
Hachimura.
Hachimura. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad y'all came to today's episode of LMC at the Church of Laker Nation. We're here to praise the Lord because yesterday was a great day. Yesterday was a great day in downtown Los Angeles, crypto.com arena. It's been a great weekend. We praise at the altar of the Jesus Christ, the Black Jesus Christ of professional basketball. His name is LeBron James, because you had them heathens by the name of Dylan Brooks trying to play a wrestling heel, trying to be all heelish, saying that he don't respect the all-time great scorer in NBA history. He said, you got to drop 40 on me or I don't respect you. And it was like Adam and Eve when the snake in the Garden of Eden tried to tempt Eve with the apple, saying you got to eat the apple, and it made Adam and Eve get shunned by God because Eve ate the apple and then she gave it to Adam, and Adam ate the apple, and God told them not to eat the apple. Just like Darvin Ham told LeBron James, you don't need to drop 40. You don't need to drop 40. And you know what? Unlike Adam and Eve, y'all, LeBron James, he listened to his leader. He listened to his coach. And he was like, I don't need to drop 40 on Dylan Brooks. I don't need the devil's respect. I don't need the devil to show me acknowledgement. I don't need the devil calling me out. So you know what he did? Jeremy? You know what he did, fine people of the LMC community? You know what he did? He gave him a 40 piece. But you know how he split up the 40 piece? He was like, you get some food and you get some food. I'm going to get 22 points. I'm going to get 20 rebounds. The oldest player in NBA basketball playoff history to drop a 20 piece on his head. And you know how Shaquille O'Neal, a former apostle of the Laker Nation, you know what he said? He was like, you add 20 to 20 and that's a 40 piece. And I was like, yeah, you know what it is all about. But here at the LMC at the Church of Laker Nation, you know what you came for. You know what you're here for. You're here to talk about him. You're going to talk about him. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wrench like me.
Is that a wrench?
Yeah, that's what it says. And was lost. I was once lost. We were 2-12, but now I'm found. We up 3-1 against the Grizzlies, but I was blind. I couldn't see the Lakers in the second round, but now I see. We're not even going to just the second round. We're going to the conference finals, mother. Yeah. The hymn this week is to talk about him, Austin Reeves, the Billy Ho of NBA basketball, the heir apparent to Larry Bird. You know what he did? Everybody used to say, Jeremy, they used to say LMC Nation, they used to say LMC community that, Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the greatest player of all time. And some other people, if you're a newer basketball fan, they say LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. And you know what number they both shared? 23. 23 is our number of the day. You know why, Jeremy? Because 23 is what Austin Reeves, and that is what him dropped last night to lead the Los Angeles Lakers in scoring. And I told you before, I told you once, I told you twice, I told you 3, 4, 5 times, Anthony Davis, he could be a top five MVP candidate on some days. But some day he's sometimes AD for all day, and then sometimes he's AD for always disappointing. And he was a little disappointed last night. But you know who stepped up? You know who filled the void? When your brother is weak, when your brother's not feeling too well, you gotta pick him up. You gotta go like Hulk Hogan when he's about to body slam Andre the Giant. You gotta pick your brother up. And that's what Austin Reeves did. He picked his brother up, always disappointed. He was like, you're not going to disappoint this time. All you gotta do is play some defense. I'm going to drop 23 on their head. 23 was also Anthony Davis, old number 2. So we went full circle. We hit the Michael Jordan, we hit the LeBron James, we hit the Anthony Davis, and we hit Austin Reeves. It's a full circle. And we up 3-1. We up 3-1, ladies and gentlemen. It's a rapid this pace. Oh my God. I feel the Holy Ghost. Oh my God. It's here. We can do it. It's this close. We won't win away. It's either happening in Memphis. No, if you but, right? No, if you but, or it's happening in Los Angeles. We love LA. We love it. Yes, we love LA. So we're not gonna do it on game 6. I'll give them game 5. You gotta let the Memphis Grizzlies fans be all happy for an instant, but we're gonna get the job done. We ain't gonna go to game 7. We're gonna get the job done. We're not gonna be like the last 7 seed Laker team that blew a 3-1 lead. I remember Kobe Bryant, my favorite player of all time. I remember against the Phoenix Suns when he hit the jumper. You know why? Because LeBron James, he comes through in the clutch. You know what they used to say, Jeremy? They used to say LeBron James ain't clutch. Not only did he hit the game-tying bucket, but he dropped a piece on the pieces of the Memphis Grizzlies in overtime and hit the game sealer. You can talk all the trash you want in the chat. We got A-Shock, who's a Phoenix Suns fan. The Phoenix Suns, if they wasn't facing the most disappointing, most unreliable superstar in NBA history, like Kawhi Leonard, you would be out in the first round. We all see it. Y'all overrated. But you know who's not overrated? It is the Los Angeles Lakers, because the only thing we do over is we overcome. We overcame 2-12. We overcame being a 13 seed a month away from the end of the season, and we're overcoming the number 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies. Ooh, Jeremy, I need a breath. I need a drink. Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
I didn't know how long that was going to go. If the Lakers, if they If the Lakers get out of the first round, I don't know what you're going to do. But if the Lakers win a title, I'm just going to start the show and just pop myself off screen and just be like, got nothing to say. Got nothing to say. Are you good? My God, that was epic.
I felt the Holy Ghost. I felt the Holy Ghost. I felt the Holy Ghost. Woo.
Oh, man.
Welcome to FMC. He's Jeremy. I'm SP3.
Oh, shit. Bless you for that. You definitely got a second life as a preacher somewhere out there. Play BitLife or something, just preacher the entire time. Oh my gosh, that was so good. We're obviously going to talk about the Lakers. I mean, I don't know what I can add to the conversation after that, honestly. I have no idea. I have less to say about the Lakers and more to say about Dylan Brooks, this fucking guy. Yeah. But I do want to get to these super chats from our pal Jake Shaw because he's having a rough morning, and I understand why. And we love Jake on the show. He's always been very supportive.
Hey, he's the champion of our first ever fantasy, isn't he? The champ, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, always been a long time supporter. So Jake says, "Morning, guys. Just trying to say, stop and say sports are incredibly dumb. True, and that the thumbnail feels like a personal attack on me. Have a good. Not a personal attack on you, Jake. I promise you, not a personal attack on you. A personal attack on the algorithm is what I was going for there. Need y'all to talk me off or on the ledge after another playoffs of being out coached, but Bucks should be." Fire Bud, hire Nurse. I got more. Let's talk about the Bucks. I owe old playoff Jimmy Buckets an apology there. He's inconsistent. I stand by he can be inconsistent in the playoffs. I do stand by that. But when he is consistent and when he comes to play for these big games, this man comes to play. They had no business being in that game last night. They were thoroughly outplayed in the first quarter outside of like 22 points from Butler. The team had 28 overall, Miami, and Butler had 22 of them by himself. He doesn't play that well. That's a blowout from the start. Still should have been largely a blowout because they were up 10 in the fourth quarter, at least 10. I turned the game off. I was like, oh, Bucks don't have this. Like, it's whatever. And then I started seeing all the clips of like, oh boy, Jimmy Butler is going ham. So I turned it back on and Jimmy Butler was going ham on him. I don't want to say like, hey, you just live with some of the shots Jimmy Butler's making. Jimmy Butler's not a known 3-point assassin or anything. No. And he's out here knocking down step back threes and crossover threes and everything. It's like, okay, look, if Jimmy Butler's going to hit these shots, Jimmy Butler's going to hit these shots. The bigger concern is Budenholzer because they won the title a couple years ago in spite of that man. Giannis said, you know what? Poor coaching doesn't matter. I'm going to overcome this. This is the greatness of Giannis right here. He's like, I'm going to overcome this shitty coaching. I'm still going to just go out there and win this title. They won the title in spite of that man. And man, this first round has not been good on Bud. You can make the Giannis argument that he missed most of game one. Okay, they lost. They won game two, didn't have Giannis. They lost game three, wasn't really a competitive game, didn't have Giannis. Lost game four, should have. They had Giannis, were up big in the fourth. No reason to lose that game. No reason to lose that game. Miami doesn't have Tyler Hero, and I'm not trying to compare Giannis to Tyler Hero because they're different realms of
but players. He's elite. He's in their top three best players on that.
He's their second. I mean, the way Bam Adebayo plays, like he's their second player. He's definitely their second best scorer outside of Butler. Like Hero is very important to that Miami team. And him is a big depth loss. Like, not even depth loss. Again, second best player, second best scorer. Like, Giannis is Giannis, but still, the Bucks have an overall better team when you take off Giannis from the Bucks and Hero from the Heat. They can't lose that game. But bless Jimmy Butler for what he did last night. That was an amazing, amazing performance. And I'm not willing to fully write off the Bucks on this. Maybe I'm a little crazy. Like, it's 3-1. They still got Giannis. They still have the best player in the league. Butler is going to, I don't know if he's going to need 57 again, but He's going to need another big game in these next 3 because the rest of that team ain't doing too much.
Yeah, he's definitely. I tried to tell Jeremy that too. I tried to tell him. I was like, it's because my Los Angeles Lakers, we saw it up close and personal. We had that series against Miami in 2020 kind of sealed up. And then Jimmy had one of those Jimmy Buckets games. And I was just, he always does. He always does. He comes through regardless of how inconsistent he can be in the regular season. And he can be. Don't get it twisted. He can be very inconsistent in the regular season. He always comes through in the playoffs with one of these games. But this was possibly one of the greatest playoff games I've ever seen. Like, this was just next level. He could not miss. He kind of just put the whole team on his back and led them to that comeback, led them to win. And the Milwaukee Bucks, it's like, man, there's a few teams that have been very disappointing in this first week and a half of the playoffs, but the Milwaukee Bucks, you can blame the Giannis injury all you want. You completely blew that game last night. You completely blew the game. You had the game all sealed up, and you took your foot off the gas. Like, I was up here as a Laker fan getting mad at the Lakers for taking their foot off the glass in the first half because we almost was about to blow Memphis out of the gym in the first half last night like we did on Saturday, but we took our foot off the gas. They got within 2 at halftime, and I put out the tweet, and they saw it, and they motivated themselves. But with the Bucks, man, y'all had the lead through 3 quarters. Through 3 quarters was dominant, and then just completely took your foot off the gas, and you can't do that against Jimmy Bucket. Jimmy Buckets will come through. It doesn't matter how many teams he's been on, how many teams he's made a mess of the locker room. He comes through when he has to, and he can put the team on his back. And that was a fabulous performance, one of the best performances, the greatest performance by a Miami Heat player in playoff history, and one of the greatest performances, period, in playoff history last night.
Jimmy Butler, I owe him an apology. He showed up for these playoffs, man. He showed up. And I don't, it's not that I doubted that Butler wouldn't have this big game or two. He always does. It's a matter of doing it the entire series to lead the team. And so far, he's been very consistent in this series. I think he's going to need another big game. Not 57 or 56. Probably going to need like another 35, 40-point game if they want to close this series out, because they ain't getting a whole lot of help from the rest of the team right now. It is insane that the Bucks are still, they're not favored to win this series at this point. They shouldn't be. They're down 3-1. But the line is a lot closer than it probably should be, given that they are down 3-1. A lot of faith in Giannis. I understand that. I completely understand a lot of faith in Giannis. I still think the Bucks are the overall better team. A lot of stock putting into the Heat regular season. I'm not conspiracy theory of like, oh, the Heat tanked so they could get the Bucks in the first round. This is the same Bucks team that whipped their ass 2 years ago, and Bryn Forbes is out here outscoring Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. Like, and that's where I kind of doubted Butler of like, look, man, this Bucks team just doesn't seem like the best matchup. And I know what happened in the bubble happened, but this ain't the bubble anymore.
But this is if you're the Miami Heat, it's like, who you be more confident against? They had a more dominant performance against the Celtics than they did the Bucks, even in the bubble. In that playoff series, they kind of played the Celtics out the freaking gym in the bubble. So you would think they would want to win that first play-in game and get the Celtics, but I mean, losing that play-in game seems to have worked out well for them, at least better than how it's worked out for the Atlanta Hawks. Like it's looking good for Miami right now. I would still think I'm going to have faith in Giannis as one of the best players in this league, that he can at least get this to a game 7. But man, there's a lot of teams who we favored in these series that are now down 3-1, and it's not looking like all these series are even going to get to a game 7.
The thing with the Bucks is Bud's been the issue for the longest time. I know Bucks fans have always had an issue with him. Okay, they won the title a couple years ago, largely in spite of him. The offense is what it is in the half court. It's a very much reliant on, hey, hope Giannis makes plays, hope they hit some threes type thing. And then in the playoffs, they typically just go cold from three. And then teams figure out how to kind of guard Giannis a little bit better. Like sometimes it doesn't matter. That guy's so good, it just doesn't matter. But you could obviously scheme better in the playoffs than you're going to try to scheme from season to season. When it comes to Miami, I bought into their regular season because if a team tells you who they are after 82 games, that's typically who they are. I don't know if Miami was just playing possum the entire season. Let's tank for Milwaukee. I don't think that's the case at all. I still think Miami was a good team for a large part of the season. Do I think they maybe held some stuff back? Maybe, but I just don't think they were largely a good team because you don't want to risk it like that. Like, hey, let's lose the first play-in game just to maybe get the Bucks, because they nearly lost to the Bulls as well. Like,
exactly.
There's no sense in playing stupid games like that just to get the Bucks. And it's like, oh, let's face the Bucks. Like that's not the easiest matchup in the world. Let's be honest. So I really think that Miami, Spoelstra's a better coach than Bud, and Spoelstra in a playoff series should rarely be doubted. Jimmy Butler in these playoff series, I'm an idiot. He shouldn't be doubted at this point. Jimmy Butler, man, what can you say? He friggin' Trey says, I thought it was over when Hero got hurt. I didn't think it was over, but like I said, when Giannis got hurt and Hero got hurt, like team-wise, it was still okay. The Bucks are the better team. Jimmy Butler, obviously the best player out of these guys, especially Middleton. Doesn't seem like full form Middleton. Yeah, he's been very good this series, but not like full form.
He got fouled out last night on a huge down the stretch, huge play where Jimmy went to the hole and he fouled him. I think that was an and one too, so it was like the double whammy. He scored and won, and you got fouled out the game. Middleton is still seems like he's not all the way right, but he's at like at least 85-90%. So hopefully, I mean, Drew Holiday, he had a stupid turnover late.
Drew is a weird player in that everyone loves him for good reason. Defensively, great, can make plays offensively, whether it's for himself or for others. His decision making, and this happened last year with them as well. Like, he does not give you, I think, the full scope of what he probably should give you. Like, it just seems like he should be a little bit better than he is. He can have the great game, but like when he has a bad game, it really sticks out, especially when you have a team with Giannis and Middleton. I really like Drew Holiday. It's not that, I wouldn't have Drew Holiday on my team. Man, he just makes some bad decisions at the wrong times, and it sticks out. Like, I think overall, when they won the title, he was fantastic. Last year, for the most part, he was really good. But in the games that they lost last year, it was a lot of it kind of fell on Drew of like, man, if Drew Holiday was just a smidge better, they probably win that game. And that's kind of how it goes for Milwaukee. It was just like, man, if Drew Holiday hits this three or that three or makes this play, they probably win this game. You just want a little bit more out of Drew Holiday.
So what do you say? Do you think that Milwaukee makes this a game 7, a 7-game series, or do you think that Miami has just like basically mentally checked them out and is going to win?
And that's where that's kind of the thing, right? Is the mental game is a big part of it, because Miami is clearly feeling themselves. They got all the momentum right now. Jimmy Butler ain't going to be broken in any type of way. Spoelstra's a better coach than Bud. Like, just there's levels to it, and Spoelstra's way level or on a much different level than Bud. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and say that this series is over when I pick the Bucks to win this series. They still have Giannis. Giannis, like, there is a mental component to it. I don't think Giannis is a guy who's getting broken mentally, though. That's the thing. I don't think Giannis is gonna sit there and be like, oh, well, what can we do? I think Giannis is a guy who's going to be like, fuck this. Like, here's what we're going to do. Now, does he have the physical ability right now? Because I don't think he's like fully 100%. 90% Giannis is still better than most of the league, but I don't think he's fully 100%. So he's going to need some help. He's going to need Drew Holiday to be a little bit better. He's going to need Middleton to be, he's going to need Bud to be a little bit better. He's
Hey,
going to
Brook
need
Lopez had a huge game. Brook Lopez, former Laker great, had a huge game.
He was great. Like I don't think Giannis is a guy who's just going to be like, all right, well, let's pack it in, everybody. Saying a team's going to come back from 3-1, like it rarely happens, except for the year that it happened every single series. It seemed like 2016. It does feel a lot more common because of that year. It just is like, yeah, okay, yeah, like it can kind of happen. I'm not writing off the Milwaukee Bucks after last night. You got to favor the Heat. You got to favor the Heat at this point. You'd be foolish not to. But would I be surprised if the Bucks win? No, I wouldn't. They still got the best player. They still have the best player. Sorry, Jimmy Butler.
We just have to get that best player to more than, I think he's at like 80% right now. He's not even at like the full like 90. He's at 75, 80%. And you're going to need him to get healthy in a short amount of time, it seems like. So I'm hoping that he can do that, because once again, the Bucks was my pick to win the whole championship this year. I didn't want to be right about Jimmy Buckets. I said Bucks in 5 because I just expected Jimmy Buckets to have this one game, and that's the game they would win in Miami. I didn't expect the game 1 win. I didn't expect all of this, but here we are, 3-1 lead. Hopefully the Bucks can make this a series. But I don't know about every other series that's 3-1 right now. And congrats to the Sixers. Sixers getting up the sweep like I predicted.
And the Nets, nobody had hope for the Nets, right? Like they just weren't a good team, especially after the trade and everything. They got that seed because of the work that Durant and Kyrie did before everything blew up.
But hey, the Sixers got the job done without Embiid.
This is what I was saying. Like the Nets had a chance to steal Game 3 because Harden got ejected. And so they could have stolen that game. And then Game 4, they had a chance because Embiid didn't play. The Nets they weren't good. And this is what I mean about like bad teams showing themselves. Like we knew who the Nets were coming into this. And I thought the Heat were of similar. I didn't think they were bad as the Nets. I would honestly pick the Heat to beat the Nets in a playoff series. But these teams, usually they tell you who they are through 82 games. And I thought that this is who Miami was. And Jimmy Butler's like, oh, you're dumb. So let's Jimmy Butler and all his coffee. I'll pay $20 for your coffee, Jimmy Butler. Outrageous prices.
Jimmy Buckets.
I forgot Ben Simmons was still on the Nets. He doesn't play for them. Like, no. I assume he's just hurt. I don't think they're like fully benching him. I assume he's just hurt.
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. Yeah. I think, well, he's always going to be hurt. It just seems like he's like Kawhi Leonard. They're hurt in the brain. That's what I think they are. It's a mental thing where they can't fight through pain. Like Anthony Davis been fighting through pain. He's been having a bad hip, but he's still been playing despite what y'all say about him. But guys like Ben Simmons, guys like Kawhi Leonard, I think it's a mental game. They can't get through the pain too often. Kawhi can have 38 points with pain, and then he won't show up for the rest of the season.
Let's not go with the mental stuff. I don't know what it is with Ben Simmons, and I think Ben Simmons is hurt, and then I don't know if he doesn't fit that team anyway. Kawhi, I feel bad for Kawhi because he was great in Game 1. He was playing well in Game 2, fighting through the pain, and I feel bad for you. Don't want to see the best players out there, SP3. I want to see the best players out there and healthy.
Yeah, I want to see the best players out there. But guess what? Kawhi Leonard, I don't think he's one of the best players. I think that
when he's healthy, he's not one of the best players.
For once, I am going to be in full agreement with Stephen A. Smith. Kawhi Leonard is one of the worst superstars in NBA history. In NBA history, you can't rely on him.
What is
you
that?
You can't rely on him He doesn't market or promote your franchise like any other superstar will because he has no personality. He
does have a personality. He just doesn't care to do that shit. Like,
he doesn't have a personality. You've seen him laugh.
He's in commercials.
You've seen him laugh. He don't have a person. Yeah, I seen the commercial where he said, "Oh, we're taking over Los Angeles." He had the king crown. He was trolling LeBron. And what happened? What happened?
He's trying to show personality.
What's happened the last 4 years? What's happened the last 4 years, Clippers fans? I want you to ask yourself that.
I'm fine with the Clippers. We got all them draft picks from the Clippers. Keep sucking.
Well, I know you. I know you all fine and dead. I'm talking to the Clippers fans out there. I was saying you had the bubble where everybody said you were the favorites in the bubble, and you choked a 3-1 lead, and you lost. You got eliminated. Then the following year, Kawhi gets hurt. You get all the way to the conference finals and you lose. You lost. You lost with Paul George. What happened last year? You lost to what? Who was it? The Dallas Mavericks? I don't even remember at this point. Y'all just lose and y'all lose and y'all lose and you're going to lose again to a team. If you had a more reliable superstar than Kawhi Leonard, you would win. Even with Kawhi and no Paul George, you would have won this series. That's the take that I had from watching this series with the way Russell Westbrook has played. And I said it a few weeks ago, I said it last week. Hey, I apologize to Russell Westbrook. He's not washed. He still got that dog in him. He still got that Oklahoma City Thunder, Russell Westbrook in him. If you had that with Game 2, Kawhi, you would have beat the Phoenix Suns with no Paul George. And that is what I wanted, honestly. For once, I wanted y'all to be a better team than I expect y'all to be, Clippers. Because you know what? I think I don't like the Phoenix Suns more than I don't like the Clippers. So I wanted that to happen. And that would have just been the biggest pie in the face of the Phoenix Suns that they lost without one of your superstars. And you had them up against the wall. But because Kawhi Leonard is not reliable, it's just so disappointing. Like Tyronn Lue, I feel so bad for this man. This man looks so dejected during the post-game interviews. He don't know what's going on. He found out Kawhi was going to be out of Game 3 like a couple of hours before the game. And it's just like, what happened? He dropped 38. He dropped 38. What's going on? What's going on, Kawhi? You can't fight through the pain. This is the time when you don't do load management. You did load management the whole year, so this wouldn't happen in the playoffs. And then it happens again and again and again and again and again. What? The most unreliable, the worst superstar in it. I'm not gonna even say one of. I'm gonna put in definites. One of the worst and most unreliable superstars in NBA history. The worst, the most unreliable superstar in NBA history. Kawhi Leonard.
What does worst superstar in NBA history?
Because of everything that you're supposed to do as a superstar. You are supposed to deliver. You're supposed to fight through all the pain. You're supposed to be reliable. Reliability is probably the biggest thing of being a superstar in the NBA. If you are the superstar of your team, they have to rely on you. And with the fact that he is the most unreliable, it makes him the worst. Unreliability equals worse when it comes to NBA superstars, in my opinion. You have to do one or the other or both. And most of the time, if you're a superstar, you have to do both. You have to be reliable and you have to at least have a personality to promote your team. And he has neither. He's neither reliable nor does he have a personality. It's just so disappointing because this was a guy that we were saying was one of the greatest NBA players of all time because he played with a chip on his shoulder in 2019 to prove the San Antonio Spurs wrong. You had trainers and doctors for the San Antonio Spurs get fired because of this man. Because they were like, well, he looked healthy to me. We tested him out. He was healthy. And then he said he wasn't ready. And then he shows up in Toronto and it's all fine and dandy there. He's all fine because he got a chip on his shoulder.
Canadian medicine.
Oh, Canadian medicine.
Free healthcare.
Free healthcare. That's might be on to something there. But yeah, this man goes to the Clippers and basically mortgages their future for Paul George because he wouldn't come to the Clippers unless it had Paul George. And LeBron tried to help him out. LeBron tried to extend his hand. He tried to extend his hand. He's like, come to the Lakers. You want to come to Los Angeles? There's only one team in Los Angeles to come to. And he told him that. And then if you're in Los Angeles, LeBron probably would have had two players that get injured a lot on his team. But Kawhi could take off. He could relax and be like, LeBron is the main star. I'm the secondary star. So then it's not really a big deal when he misses some games, when he gets injured, when he has the mystery injury that keeps him out of playoff games. It would not be such a big deal as it is with the Clippers. This is all Kawhi's fault. This is a whole problem of his doing.
I don't know that man's health. I don't know how injured he actually is. I would like to think that if he could play basketball, he would be out there and playing basketball. Should he, if he's 80%, should he play through the pain? It's the playoffs. Maybe. But if he doesn't want to risk his long-term health for that, then what are you going to do? Wants to play longer, wants to extend his career. Load management is a discussion that we could really dive into because I don't know how helpful that is, because the whole point of load management is like, oh, well, you rest up to get to the playoffs and then everybody's healthy. Some guys are just hurt. How they get hurt, I think Paul George said it has to do with conditioning.
But we saw Paul George get hurt. This is the difference between. This is why this is a first that I'm disparaging the Clippers. But notice, Jeremy, I did not say one bad thing about Paul George because we saw him get hurt. We didn't see what happened to Kawhi. He looked perfectly fine in game 2, dropped to 38, and then he's just, he's hurt.
He did. He was hurt in game 2. He was laboring. Hey, Chris Paul pushed him, and he was laboring. Chris Paul, sneaky, dirty player. He was laboring off of that though. I don't know how this man's body works. Right? It seems like Kawhi Leonard gets hurt just stepping down some stairs. So I could totally believe that this man gets hurt just walking onto a basketball court and playing the physicality of basketball. Joel Embiid hurts himself by falling down on every play. What are we doing here? I don't know how.
We see that. We did not see.
So that's what we need. We need Kawhi Leonard falling over. That's where the injury happened.
We need to see him get hurt because all we're seeing is wear and tear, and he just can't push his body through. Anthony Davis, y'all have literally called him, said he's made of glass, but this man keeps falling and he gets back up. He's selling the hip better than wrestlers nowadays, and he is out there still playing through the pain. LeBron James at 38 years old. This man, year 20, his body is not 100% at all. This man was injured like a month ago. And he's out here balling and playing. What is up with Kawhi Leonard? Kawhi Leonard is because we've seen him at the highest level. We've seen him win the NBA Finals as the number one option with free healthcare in Toronto. And he chose to come to Los Angeles. He chose to troll LeBron James. And look what happened to him. He chose to stay in the projects instead of the luxury house across the street. And poor Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook went to the projects. He got them a new roof. He's like patching up the walls, and he's playing his heart out. And he's doing it with the most
You abandoned
unreliable.
Russell Westbrook.
He's
You
doing
dropped him off in the projects and said, "Here, good luck, buddy."
He's doing it with the most unreliable superstar in NBA history. And Paul George. I don't have a word bad to say about Paul George because I seen it with my own eyes. I know why Paul George ain't there.
What do the Clippers do when they, I'm not going to say if, when they lose this series? Because there are a lot of teams that have questions right now. And we'll kind of go through a little bit. Look, these series are not fully over, but these teams that we're about to talk about are down 3-1, and it ain't looking great for them. And the teams right now are Cleveland, who I think has been the most disappointing.
Oh, yes.
In the playoffs. I guess. I'm sure Romeo's talking a lot of shit. But I think they've been the most disappointing team in the playoffs. I expected much bigger fight from them. You know, I've railed against Donovan Mitchell before. I think that Donovan Mitchell has become everyone is just like, oh, great playoff performer, Donovan Mitchell, because of what he did against Carmelo Anthony and the Thunder in his rookie season in the playoffs. Otherwise, Mitchell,
since then,
he's been fine, but what's he doing this year? He
played well for 3 games. He got shut down by that defense. The Knicks
supposed to be his best team.
The Knicks are showing us what we thought Cleveland would show us, that they are just the more physical, defensive-minded team, and we should have expected this with Tom Thibodeau as their coach. This has been a coaching masterclass by Tom Thibodeau. Him sitting Julius Randle, doing playing with the lineups the way he has, putting the ball in RJ Barrett's hand and Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's been the best player on the court in this series so far. He's been amazing, and he shut me up. I can admit when I was wrong. I was wrong about Jalen Brunson. I sat up here on this show and said the Knicks overpaid for Jalen Brunson. But through 82 games of the regular season, and then so far 4 games, a 3-1 lead for them against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he shut me the hell up. He smacked me across the face and said, how dare you? I deserve every single penny, and he does. The Knicks look like they're about to move on to the next round. What they do in the next round, it's going to be very interesting if Miami beats the Bucks, because the Knicks may find themselves in the conference finals with how these playoffs are playing out. And who would have thunk that?
I don't think many people.
I don't think a lot of Knicks fans would have thunk that.
Yeah. Cavs have been disappointing. I expected them to. I thought this series would be pretty close. Like the Knicks have been largely good for most of the season. I mean, they're 5 seed for a reason. It's not like they were too far behind the Cavs or anything. I thought the Cavs would be better. They just haven't been. I don't think the Cavs are a team that has to take a too hard of a look this offseason. I think they just bank on some internal growth from guys like Mobley's only in like year 2. Garland's in like year 2 or 3. It's year 1 with Mitchell as part of that nucleus. I think they just bank on some internal growth, maybe make moves around the edges type things. The teams that like the Bucks are going to have questions. I think you should fire Budenholzer if you lose this series. People have been saying hire Nick Nurse. Yeah, look, Nick Nurse has got his own questions though. The fact that everyone's like, oh, Toronto has this great team on paper, and then for some reason it doesn't work out. I still think Nick Nurse is a good coach. I think it's an upgrade over Bud. But let's not act like Nick Nurse. If he was that good, he would have gotten that Toronto team a little bit further, at least into the playoffs. So
yeah,
there's still a question with Nick Nurse, but Toronto's probably going to blow part of that team up. You have, and then you have Memphis, and Memphis. I didn't believe in them for most of the season. Memphis is a team that I just do not buy. I didn't buy them last year and lost to the Warriors. I didn't buy them this year. I thought they were going to lose to the Lakers. I thought it would go 7. It might only go 6. Might only go 5. I thought they were going to lose the Lakers. I didn't buy Memphis because it just seems like such a regular season. Memphis is the new Utah Jazz. Like, oh, cool, you had a nice little regular season. Great. You played really hard and played really well when the stars just didn't really give a shit during the regular season. You cared about those November games when Steph was like, LeBron was like, all these guys don't care about those November games. Memphis cared about those November games. And then we get into the April games. It's like, oh, wait, now we see there's a level to this. Now we see Steph and LeBron and these guys. Oh, okay, yeah, they care about these games. I don't know what you do with Memphis. Dylan Brooks, I think that guy's just, one, he's not good. He's just not good. I guess he's defensively allegedly good. I haven't really.
He's just annoying.
Yeah.
That's all he really is.
He's Lance Stevenson at this point. Like,
he's Lance Stevenson. He's washed Ruben Patterson. He's like, if there was ever an example in professional sports of front running bitches, it would be the Memphis Grizzlies. My dude, you were talking all that smack after game 2. You lose game 3, you don't want to talk to the media. You lose game 4, you're like, I'm out to the media. Yo, that is the most front-running pussy stuff that I have ever seen in professional sport. Y'all talk all that smack, and then you do all this? Come on, man.
That's just an annoying team where they're annoying and they're just not great. Like, if they're having fun and stuff, people were like, oh, look how fun Memphis is having with Ja, and other people are like, oh, well, this is annoying, like they're front running, and they kind of are. I fully agree with that. There's a difference between having fun when they're like celebrating wins and dancing and things like that when you're winning games and stuff.
That's
and then
all
doing
good.
Yeah. And then doing this shit in the playoffs when it's like, oh, okay, it's a 1-1 series. Let me just poke the bear, as people have come out and said. And LeBron, he's talking about, oh, we don't need, he's got to drop 40 on me. LeBron don't give a shit about scoring like that anymore. I really don't think he cares. Like, could LeBron do that still? Maybe. He's 38 years old. The foot is, I don't know how bad it is. I think it's 100% no. But LeBron certainly is just, LeBron ain't the guy who's just going to go out there and get 40 like that at this point. LeBron would rather do 20 and 20. Getting 20 rebounds, by the way, is no small feat. Like, no. I know people saying that Shaq did it. He hasn't done 2020 game for the Lakers since 2004. Like, getting 20 rebounds is no small feat. That's still showing he's putting out there.
What was it? Shaq was like what, 31, 32 in 2004? LeBron is 38, year 20. Year 20.
LeBron would rather have like 25, 8, and 6 over getting 40 and just making the right plays. And then when he needs to step up, like he did last night, game tying bucket at the end of the game sealing bucket on Dylan Brooks, drawing the foul on him in overtime. Like, that's when it's like, okay, LeBron is still going to be out here and being LeBron. Memphis, they got to get rid of Dylan Brooks. That's the first thing I would do. Other guys, like, is Ja the guy who, I mean, they won the game without Ja. Do I think they're a better team without Ja? No. Do I think they are constructed well for what Ja likes to do? Also, no. Not having Steven Adams is a big loss. He's a big part of that team. He's an adult on that team, where otherwise they could be a little bit immature, especially Dylan Brooks, man. That dude is just, he's not even a good heel.
He's
SP3.
not.
He's not even a good heel, because, if you're going to talk all that, at least come to the press conference and just keep fucking talking. And just keep talking. You might make yourself look stupid. Fine. But to run away from it is even worse. And when you can't back it up, when you have done nothing on the court, I tweeted, it was a remix of a Kanye West line. Kanye West is a great line that I love. People talk so much shit in the barbershop, they forget to get their hair cut. I love that line. It's so good. And I remixed it to apply to Dylan Brooks of like, Dylan Brooks talks so much shit in the gym, he forgot to get them shots up. Because this man ain't hitting nothing.
Nope.
He too busy worrying about the microphone in front of him than getting these shots up and putting in some work. The real work. This guy.
This man thought he was like Ric Flair, Roddy Piper on the mic. And then he just turned out to be Disco Inferno. Like, yo, like you're not that good of a heel. I want to apologize. I apologize to Ruben Patterson. Because Ruben Patterson used to call himself the Kobe stopper after Kobe dropped 40 on him. Like, he still was talking back in those Portland Trailblazers day. He would still be talking. But Dylan Brooks, he ran away. He ran away. As soon as things didn't go the way he wanted to, he had to cry to his mommy. He couldn't show up to school. He didn't want to show up to school the next day. He was like, "Oh, I'm sick. I can't talk today. I can't do the show and tell presentation." Like, come on, man. Like, so disappointing. Memphis, like I said, I'm gonna give y'all game 5, but I don't see this going 7 games. I think that the Lakers in Los Angeles, especially with that Los Angeles crowd, man, LA came through. LA came through on Saturday, came through last night, supporting our team the way we do. First full capacity Laker games since 2013? They was ready for that. So I am glad to see LA come through the way they have, but man, Dylan Brooks, Dylan Inferno, however you want to call him, man, you're not that. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. You need to sit down.
Dylan Brooks in this series is averaging. Let me pull this up. Why am I having so much trouble just going to NBA.com here? Don't care.
Yeah, just to do the first 4 games of this series. And it's disappointing because Ja delivered in game 3. He had 45, but you could tell he was hurt last night.
He delivered in game. He had 45 because it was a 30-point game, and then the Lakers were just like, yeah, sure, do what you want here. Go on a 20. Ja Morant scores 22 straight, and the lead is down to 10. And it's like, it's not like it's still a double-digit game here. Like, bless Ja. He's trying, but, if he gives his effort.
With one hand. Come on, we got to give him credit with one hand.
Nah, look, I got no problem with Ja as far as like the effort he gives. Some people... who's that? Trey Jones. So someone needs to tell Ja doesn't ever jump over everyone every single time. Yeah, I was worried about LeBron that charge.
That charge, because if LeBron's head wasn't there, I think Ja would have had like a broken tailbone by the way he was falling.
Dylan Brooks, 11 points on 33% shooting and 22% from 3. 3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.3 turnovers, nearly 4 fouls a game as well. What are we doing? Defensive rating.
The guy talking. Why is he the one talking for the team?
Defensive rating at a 108. He has a net rating of minus 5.1. They're worse with him on the floor. He doesn't do anything on offense, and supposedly, for being a good defender, he ain't guarding anybody right now. Don't know what his value is to them. I don't know who they replace him with on the floor. Maybe you play Ja and Tyus Jones together, but I don't know what his value is at this point because he ain't helping you, and he's just getting you in more trouble talking shit when you don't. I don't understand these players. SP3. Maybe it's because I'm very non-confrontational when it comes to this stuff. I don't understand these players of, let me talk shit to statistically the greatest scorer of all time. Debatably the greatest player of all time. Undebatably a top 5, largely undebatably a top 3 player of all time.
The greatest small forward of all time.
Yeah. Like,
I don't think there's a debate about that anymore.
Right, like, why are we doing this? Is it because, like, he even said it himself? You know the old pro wrestling adage, SP3, is don't bury your opponent. Because if you just call them a loser, they suck, they're weak, then you beat a loser who sucks and is weak. And if they beat you, you look like a fucking idiot. And
Exactly.
that's where Dylan Brooks is right now. It's like, oh, he's old, he can't do it anymore. It's like, okay, so if you beat an old LeBron James, congratulations. And if LeBron James comes out there and gives you a 2020, you just got your ass beat by 38-year-old LeBron James, who you were talking all that shit. Don't do this, especially when it comes to these great players like this. LeBron, Clay learned this, and Clay is actually good. Clay is actually a valuable player. Clay's going to the Hall of Fame. Clay will remind you any chance he gets how many rings he has. Granted, he only had 2 at the time. And he only had 3. He only had 1 at the time, actually, because then they won 2 with Durant, and then they won afterwards.
Yeah.
1 afterwards. Yeah, Clay only had 1 at the time. He was talking all that shit. Okay, maybe you shouldn't talk shit when you only have 1 ring. Now Clay's got 4. He's like, look how many I got.
But remember, Dylan Brooks was first talking crap to Clay, and look what happened to him.
These guys who haven't, job, like, I'm good in the West, like, we're still the best in the West. I mean, if you haven't won anything, maybe just keep it down a little bit. Just keep
be a little bit humble. Like, it's not that big of a deal to be just a little bit more humble when you're playing.
Sit down, be humble. That's it.
Pretty sure, yeah. Speaking of Clay, though, the Golden State Warriors, man, tied up the series.
That's been a good series.
It's looking like it's going 7.
I don't know. No De'Aaron Fox for the Kings now. That's tough because this has been such a good series. I thought maybe. Well, I picked the Warriors in 6, and I did not relent on that after they were down 2-0 either. I try not to change it just because, okay, they lost 1 game, they lost 2 games. I picked the Warriors in 6. Feel more confident about that with De'Aaron Fox being out. That it's such a bummer that Fox got hurt though and is going to miss Game 5. It doesn't feel as big now. It's like, all right, they beat the Kings, still a good team. Like, the Kings are a deep team and everything, but they don't have the best player anymore. They don't have their best player anymore. And the Warriors still got to win on the road. They've not proven they can do that. Feels like it's going to be a lot easier to win on the road with no De'Aaron Fox out there. I'm bummed about that because this has been such a good series. And this is a series that, like, it looked like it was going 7. And now the second best player in the series, the best player on the other team, gets hurt. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. That's kind of been the one bummer about the playoffs so far is all the injuries. I did spend a good 5 minutes dragging Kawhi Leonard, but I do agree that, you don't want to see all these great players have to sit out. Joel Embiid's had to sit out, and sometimes it's injuries, their own doing. I'm just hoping they can, Joel Embiid can come back. I'm hoping that De'Aaron Fox, he's just going to be out for Game 5, that he can come back for Game 6, which would be very interesting. If the Warriors drop 1 game at home, in Game 7, leaving it up to Game 7 would be very, very interesting. I want to see a 7-game series, and it seems like a lot of the series that we thought were going to go 7 games ain't going 7 games. So this seems like the only one that it's a viable kind of option. But yeah, I do agree that De'Aaron Fox injury just came at the worst time possible for the Kings.
I was going to say something I forgot. What portion I didn't mean. Oh, Embiid. Thank you, Matt Payne, for mentioning Embiid. I hope Embiid is back for the second round against Boston. They didn't need him against Brooklyn, clearly, but hopefully he's back for the second round against Boston. This man's just got to stop falling. Like, maybe he can't control it. Like, maybe he is getting, like, banged around and pushed, but, like, some of these, I don't know if you saw the clip on Twitter, but, like, some of them, it looked like He was barely pushed over. He was just falling for no reason. Well, Embiid tries to embellish, draw a foul, flop, all this stuff. Like, you ain't hurting nobody but yourself when you're hitting the floor that many times. He's just gotta stop this.
You're just putting the number up on your bump card, man. Yeah. I love that this is the show we don't talk about wrestling, but we've made multiple analogies for wrestling for basketball. Just keep it consistent. I love it.
He's just gotta stop falling, man. Like it's annoying too because he's so good, and it's like you probably just don't need to do this on every single play. It's so much. Like, all right, fine, I get it. Like you fall every now and again, but some of it it does look very purposeful. It's like what are we doing out here? You can't tell me Joel Embiid, as big as strong as he is Spencer Dinwiddie gives him a little shove, and Embiid is falling over, acting like he just got punched in the face. Like Spencer Dinwiddie ain't that strong. Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie is the strongest man on the court. I just don't know. But I stop falling, Joel Embiid. I hope he's healthy for the Boston series because I don't know if
that could be the best series of the playoffs if he is healthy or healthier than he's been. Boston, they got one more game, right? They're up 3-1, right?
Yeah, they're up 3-1. They'll close that out. Maybe tonight is when.
Yeah, I would think that they would close it out. I gave Atlanta one win. They got their one win, but I think that Boston's going to close that one out. As far as I think the only series we haven't mentioned is Denver and Minnesota, which Anthony Edwards, man, I said he was good for one. He was good for one win, and he got the one win down 3-0. But yeah, it's about to be a wrap next game. Denver's
it's just that's it for that. I figured Minnesota would get one just because Denver was going to not necessarily score around. I mean, they got that. Minnesota should have won that regulation. Minnesota almost.
Nikola Jokic played like bananas in that game. What do you have? Like a 40-point triple-double?
I mean, he had a triple-double. His assists were a little shy, I believe. But yeah, I figured Minnesota would get one. They got one. Nuggets will take care of business on home court. Good playoffs so far. I'm looking forward to once the second round gets started. Good playoffs because there's been some good drama with the Bucks losing, which I didn't foresee, and then the Grizzlies. I mean, I did foresee that, but the spectacular fashion that they have decided to lose, which is great.
Thank you, Los Angeles Lakers, for giving us great content in the opening 10 minutes. Makes it easier for Caden to clip it, and hopefully we got another good short.
Caden did clips for the first time in about a year, and
it was only because he cut a promo.
Yeah, but even then, when he was on Spotlight and cut that promo on MJF, which was good, he didn't even clip that. So I don't bank on him clipping this. Caden asked me to do a draft watch along this week for the NFL draft. I assume, are you guys doing one on True Hill Sports?
On True Hill He Sports. Okay. They are.
Yeah. Everyone go. We're not going to do a draft watch along, and the reason for that is we're doing more wrestling content on this channel, so I don't want to screw up our algorithm and stuff even more by adding a non-wrestling type thing. And we don't talk a lot of football on this show. Like if it's basketball related, I'll try to do that. Obviously, we just had our interview with Mark Long drop. So if it's, if we can still tie things together in that sense, especially because this is largely a basketball show. That's why we don't talk a lot of football. A-Shock is asking who will the Carolina Panthers draft. We do have the number 1 overall pick. I assume it's Bryce Young. That's what everybody's saying. That's where everything seems to be leading. Hopefully he's good. They gave up a lot, so hopefully he's good. Yes, we shall see.
Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Finally got done after like a month of build up.
Good for him. Our pal Cher Delaware is here. Hello, Cher Delaware.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing all right. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing well.
I don't know. We talk about the challenge, even though I'm still 1 episode behind, but I'm getting there. We can talk about our great interview with Mark Long that is up now. on the site on Fightful Overbooked and Fightful. So I said this story on in the weeds yesterday because this email came to me as we were on in the weeds. So we interviewed Mark Long and we asked him like, "Hey, you're gonna be at spring breaking this year?" He was there last year supporting Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is going for the title. I know we don't talk wrestling, but this is challenge and interview adjacent. Grayson Waller is going for the title, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be there. Going to be visiting my parents and everything." Like in the middle of In the Weeds yesterday, he emails me and just like, "Jeremy, gonna be at spring breaking. Like, look for the announcers to give me a shout out." And I'm like, "Yeah, now I got to rewrite this article. Thanks, Mark. Got to change some wording here because I had that article set to go. I was like, oh, this is timely. Like, he's not going to be at spring breaking. This is very timely for things." And he's emailing me like, "Gonna be there." I was like, all right, so everybody look for our pal Mark Long at spring breaking tonight if you're watching NXT.
I even worked it where I was able to do an article for Wrestle Talk.
There we go.
Reality TV legend will be at NXT spring breaking. Absolutely.
He's great. He was messaging me after the show. It's just like, "Oh, thanks, man, for the interview." I was like, "Hey, no problem." Putting over headlines and everything. Bless Mark Long.
Yes,
he's awesome.
He was great. He was great. He was a great interview. It was very fun.
We look forward to hopefully seeing him back on the challenge one day. All right, let's actually update I'll spoil this for myself. It's fine.
Yes, because I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about this past week's episode. Oh my God. I have joined Cher officially in the We Hate Tory Club because Jesus Christ. It's been a slow buildup. So Jeremy, you've seen most of how much she has been just totally ruining her team. Her and Danny physically have one of the best teams in here, but they're just overall lack of chemistry, lack of cohesion is systematically destroying them from within.
The wife just messaged me, "The Tory, she sucks." The wife does not watch the challenge. She obviously knows about it through this show and just me in general. She watched Tori's season of Are You the One? She knows Tori's like history when it comes to just dating, and it's just like doesn't like her immediately. So she already just hates Tori despite never seeing an episode of the challenge. So she supports your dislike of Tori.
It's just mind-boggling. But because you've seen the episode with Banana's elimination.
Yes.
She pretty much sabotaged her own team by thinking that she could talk Kellyanne into just going along with Team USA's plan and then Kellyanne is the MVP of the season so far. Can we just say that?
She's been great.
Yeah.
She's been fantastic. The whole beef with her and Janae really took up like the first like 3 to 4 episodes of this season, where Janae, that was like the first fumble she's had since she's returned to the challenge, with telling Kellyanne, "Oh, I have your back," and then immediately betraying her. Like that was just a total fumble by Janae, and it just proved that Janae is good. She can be a challenge champion. She proved that in All Stars, getting the number 1, female in all 3 seasons. But in none of those seasons did she have power this early on. And I think that she can't be a front runner. She can't have that power too early on. She's got to get it like somewhere in the middle or towards the end, because having it early on, she didn't know what to do with herself.
Here is our draft list here. So we haven't updated. All right, so Naya's gone. That was a share pick. Naya's gone. Rodrigo, he's got to be somewhere down here. That was an SP3 pick. Gone. Wes, poor Wes. Wes gone. All of our first round is knocked out, by the way. Zara's gone. Janae's gone due to injury. Ben.
Yeah, Ben got sick.
Bananas. out. Justine. Where's just out right there?
Is that Harlem?
Yes.
I love it.
Ben High, gone, and Jody. Where's Jody?
Jody, I got Jody. Round 3.
Oh, okay, I see. Jody, gone, and Amber, gone.
God damn, I don't have anything left. Oh my goodness.
I'm doing halfway decent here.
You're doing
really
very well. All I got is Emily, Theo,
Yeah, who do you?
Troy, and Kellyanne. Thank God I picked Kellyanne.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Kellyanne's doing well. Kellyanne's doing well. I'm glad Casey got to stay. Because it looks like she.
Can we? Yo, this was the other part of this last episode I wanted to talk about, because Amber is a goddamn saint. For her to give up her spot to one of the people that have made her challenge life a living hell in KC, she's got a heart of gold. Like, that was the most selfless decision for her partner Troy that I've seen it on the challenge, because KC is a person that absolutely did not deserve the grace in class that Amber has. KC has been a part of that Big Brother ridiculously vacation alliance with Josh and Fessy that has been targeting Amber, been saying, oh, she's too nice. Oh, she's too nice she's faking. She's fake and all this other nonsense, when she gave up her spot because she knew that something wasn't right. And it's revealed, she was, I said it from the beginning when we were talking about it. I was like, yeah, she's pregnant. But I was like, I don't know when she finds out. But eventually she did find out. Yo, Casey, you didn't deserve that. You did not earn that. You did not deserve Amber to be that nice to you.
Okay, let's not hate. Let's not, just because you don't have her on your team, SP3. This is clearly hating because you did not draft Casey. And if you did, you would be fine with this.
Even if that lawn chair was on my team, I would still say the same thing.
She is very, how do I put this nicely? Useless on these shows.
She's a lawn chair. That's what she is.
She's a very athletic lawn chair. With a good social game.
You forget she's there so often. She seems likable enough.
She's the lawn chair that you walk off and leave at the baseball field because you forgot that you brought it.
She's very forgettable. Maybe forgettable is better than useless. But just forgettable on so much of this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, Casey, she's good. Everyone respects her and seems to, through Nani and stuff, they seem to like her because everyone likes Nani and everything. But it's like, man, if Casey's not on this show, do you notice at all? I mean, last season with her brother, whoever the hell it was,
Kenny.
Yeah, honestly,
he was more of a lawn chair than Casey.
I swear,
it's got to be something in their genetics.
I swear, she was like, you know what? There's probably other people I could pick who could be like a ride or die for me, but let me go with my brother and be like, y'all think I'm bad? Y'all think like I bring nothing to this show? Look how bad this guy
I really think that she tried to make herself look better bringing him on, and it didn't help. It just made them both look bad.
That family,
and I'm sure that they're all very nice people not on the challenge. I mean, you got to have your gameplay on the show, like Bananas sucks on and off the challenge, but you have to, like, most of these people are not terrible people. But oh my God, buy a personality, fake it, do something. Like, oh my gosh, I can't.
It's not great with her. She's sticking around. I'm happy about that for my fantasy team.
I'm happy about it because I got Troy.
So. Yeah, true. Anything else from the challenge that you want to hit on, SP3? We did get the trivia contest this past week. Always one of the best ones where they pull the ripcord on it. People get to fall as well. TJ cackling.
TJ loves it.
Oh, it's so good.
This one, I like the concept of they had 10 strings to pull.
Yeah, I think it's 5.
Oh, it was like 5, yeah. And you couldn't pull the right one because the right one would just make you drop. I felt so bad for Jody and Benha, who just kept picking the wrong one. They never even got a chance to answer a trivia question because they would get picked and then pull the wrong one. But I'll give it up for Tristan, for someone who was a part of that whole 3-way of people that were sick at the beginning of the episode, with Ben being the worst. That's why he had to leave this episode, and then Amber being pregnant, she had to leave and gave her spot up to Casey, who didn't deserve it. Tristan sticked around because of Kaz, and he totally proved himself to be a genius at trivia. This man's answering what's the name of a doctor of birds. I was like, man, this guy he's on 50% and he's delivering in this challenge.
I would just like to say, for those that don't know, patient 0 in the sickness was Bananas. He was the one who had it and got everyone else sick.
Oh, you for real?
Yep.
Oh man, that's even worse.
He's gone. He's that. Why are we blaming Johnny Bananas? He got eliminated. We haven't talked about this. Go ahead, Cher.
Listen, when you're that old, you're more susceptible to getting sick. He got it, and then he gave it all to the young, healthy people on the show.
Poor Ben, and it is very accurate. I immediately, when you said that, I was like, that makes sense, because he was talking to Ben a few episodes ago. That's probably the exact instant when he gave it to him.
Probably. Also, I was advertising our interview with Mark Long in all of the challenge Facebook groups that I'm in.
Thank you. We got to write more wrestling articles on Mark Long. We haven't talked about this on air, but SP3 and I talked a little bit about it off air. Banana's getting eliminated, and how they had to match up the board there with the barrels and everything. The look on his face when they did not tell him that the sun was smiling and they had the frowny sun on the barrel up there. He's like, "You guys knew? You guys knew what was wrong? You didn't say anything?" He was so salty.
He's like, "You motherfuckers didn't help me win again? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. I put this in our group chat when Wes got eliminated, and now I believe it even more that Banana's gone. They're gonna find a way to get these people back on this show. It's not like they're going super early in the game, but they're going about halfway through, and that's pretty early for the caliber of Wes and Bananas. They're gonna find a way to get them back. I don't know how they do it. I feel like it's happening.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I don't think so, because I think this season is only supposed to go 12 episodes. So we only got 4 episodes left. I think they're just gonna go ahead, and there's enough drama already with the teams left, especially with Tori and Danny, which might be the worst team they ever assembled in a challenge. Tori hates this whole concept of elimination. She hates it. She literally, oh my God, this past episode. So let me talk about this fast. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I have.
Oh, you're good.
She burn vote on herself. Because she has too many alliances. She won't vote for Jordan. She literally, KC voted for her. And she was like, I can't vote for KC. And Danny is so fed up with her. He actually put out on his social media the real conversation that happened that didn't air on the episode. And he said that her reasoning for not wanting to vote for Casey, because Danny tells her, Casey just voted for her. We have to vote for them to not do a stalemate. And she's like, Casey gave me $50,000. I can't vote for her. And Danny's like, I'll give you $50,000. Where's my wallet? Like,
what a flex, by the way. Just like, give me my wallet. I'll give you $50,000 right now.
Truly.
This man's been in the NFL and he won season 1 of the USA. He probably got it. Like, yo, Tori is just like, she's really hit that wall of she's willing to put her friendship in front of her own game. She's literally sabotaging herself for just a couple of friends. She doesn't know how to distinguish between the game and reality, and that's an issue. And that's the issue that everybody said Kara had at War of the Worlds 2, and now Tori's here, and we already know she's gonna be on the USA season, so we have to deal with this bullshit again.
I think it was Jimmy that tweeted about it, and she said, like, so many of these people are trying to make this a career. They're not trying to win a season.
Yeah.
And people like Tori, who instead of focusing on winning that season are like, okay, but I can't screw over this person because then maybe in 3 seasons they'll have my fate in their hands, and they're not playing to win. They're playing for the longevity and for the booking fee of being brought on to a season. And it's like, that doesn't make it enjoyable to watch. That like, you can have 1 or 2 people that you're like, absolutely, I will never screw this person over. Like, you can have those people. You can't have 15 of them. That it doesn't work that way. And the fact that Tori is fake as fuck. Like, that makes it more difficult to believe any of the things that she's saying too. And I've loved that Danny has been so out there on Twitter, like, no, I'm not doing, and people are telling him like that he's wrong, and he's like, excuse me. Like, what? I've loved it. I've loved watching it.
The fact that Sarah, who was like, everyone hated her personality on USA season, and she literally during the voting just went up and like, Tori, like, we understand it's hard, but you need to actually play the game you continue to sign up for. I nearly died because it was like, yo, she just hit you with the truth. Like, you sign up for this game, play the damn game. When Jordan is the one that's like, yo, just vote for somebody. You're gonna make it a stalemate. Vote for somebody. He was like, she's my friend too, and I voted for her. Yes, it was hard, but do it.
And it's a game.
But it is what it is. This is what always seems to happen, is you have these people who cannot separate game from reality. And you also have these people, this is the Bananas effect to me. Of not the game separating from reality. I mean, Bananas plays the damn game. He doesn't give a shit about personal relationships. But the Bananas effect of long-term storytelling of, hey, if I try to, like, I'll just keep being invited back for season after season. But to Bananas' credit, Bananas got that way because he just played the damn game. And he wasn't afraid to just burn shit down. And so that's why he kept coming back. These other people now are not doing that. And they're just like, oh, I want to come back. Or I think I'm just going to keep coming back. And so I don't want to burn this person in case we come back together. Where Bananas is like, they're going to keep bringing me back because I'm going to keep creating some drama and shit. And I'll
Bananas
be the most hated person.
Drama,
and that's fine.
Maybe like he's like, okay, well, I won't screw over Leroy.
Yeah. Right. You got to have your friend.
That's like his one person, that
and before Leroy, it was Kenny and Evan.
Exactly.
And with Wes always causes drama, but he would never screw over Nehemiah or Brad.
Exactly.
Like, you can have 1 or 2 people. The issue that has made the challenge really unwatchable in the last couple of seasons, especially since Double Agents, is that what started off as the three-headed monster of Big Brother that Devin hated in Double Agents of Casey, Josh, and Fessy has now become this vacation alliance that now includes Nani and Devin and Tori and Bananas and Jordan, and it's like grows and grows and grows to the point that the game is not watchable, and they get rid of anyone who's new and interesting and wants to cause issues. They get rid of them because their alliance is just like half of the fucking house, and it's not enjoyable to watch. But this season has been enjoyable to watch because you have Danny and Sarah and Emily who are just like, no, we're creating our own MVP alliance and we're gonna go against y'all. We want to play the actual game that we grew up watching and wanted to be on this show while y'all are worried about season 40 on MTV.
Yeah, and it's annoying that MTV knows this and they continue to cast these people all on the same season every time. Like, break them up a little bit at least. Put half of them on one season and the other half on the next season, because it's just frustrating to watch. And like, I get it. I get that these people, you're with them a ton. You don't want them to hate you. If they don't understand that this is a game, they don't need to be coming on the show. That's all there is to it. Like, I'm sorry if we had a freaking thing that was everybody that had podcasts on Fightful. I love all of y'all, but I need money. So, like, I wouldn't be mad at any of you for putting me in an elimination. Like, you have families to take care of. You know what I mean? Like, I think that
I'd be super irritated at both of you if you threw me in. I thought we were supposed to stick together.
We're an alliance. Don't worry.
We are an alliance, but if we get down to the end, I'm not sacrificing myself for you. Like, exactly. And I wouldn't expect either of you to sacrifice yourself for me. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Now, Sean, I'm throwing him in first thing.
Oh yeah, but we all come in, all our different alliance. FMC,
Sean is the Johnny Bananas.
Everybody's throwing you, Sean.
Yeah, he's out. But I mean, I think a lot of it is so many of these people are like immature and they've never been in the real world. Not like a joke, because, the real world. But but like, Tori's been on TV since she was a child, basically. Like, she started doing these shows very young and she's continued to do them since then. They have no concept of the real world. They don't know like what her and Anissa would not be friends if they were not jammed into this show together. Like, they have nothing alike except that they're both fake. Like, Anissa thinks she's the realest person in the world, but whatever. Like, I don't know. The show makes me mad. Also, this is a different topic, but I just remembered our dear friend SP3 finally watched Love is Blind.
Yeah, where are you at on Love is Blind, SP3?
So me and the missus were watching it, and my missus fell asleep. So the last episode, I stopped on because I was like, nah, I can't watch this. She's got to see this, because I was getting upset. Is Jackie going out on a coffee date with Josh when she's supposed to go to her wedding dress fitting? I was like, no, I'm getting upset. I was like, I gotta stop this. I gotta watch this with the missus. I was like, no, because I literally, the night before, I stopped it when Zach was asking Bliss to get married, and she was like, she woke up and she was like, oh, where did we live off? I was like, I had to end it because you need to see this. And then we watched that last night, and she was like, what? Don't do it. He didn't pick you. He did. My Lord, I had to message y'all. First, I had to message y'all when Zach sang, and I was just like, oh my God, I see what y'all was talking about. This is the most cringe-worthy moment ever. And then the second time,
uncomfortable.
The more uncomfortable was Zach meeting Irina. Oh my God. Me and the missus are both like, oh, I feel so embarrassed. I feel so cringe. Like
she does not fuck with that man. Like, she immediately was not attracted to him. I'm sorry, but if I meet my fiance for the first time, I'm not telling him he looks like a fucking cartoon character. He was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. And then she kept being like, why are you looking at me? Like
well,
what?
You don't blink much, do you? I was like,
you don't blink.
she was like, and then he's kissing her at the pool party. She's like, ew. I was like, what?
When he said, can I have a kiss? And she said, how about a hug for now? Bitch, you're engaged to this man. What?
You just said yes. He put a ring on it and you said yes. Why are you this way? And she was horrible in the pods too.
Horrible.
Her and Micah. And Micah were like the mean girls.
Yeah.
They were the mean girls. It was like
other
ridiculous.
People would be upset and they were making dirty faces at them.
Yeah,
and
laughing
things.
At them.
Yeah, like they were both just awful. And it was obvious she was so much younger than everybody else too.
I still can't believe this woman admitted to him. I forgot your birthday. Like I just and
he still picked her.
And he still picked her. No. And he still picked her.
The other one's in there fucking baking cupcakes for him, and he still picks her. And I'm sorry. I've been the second choice for someone before, not on live or reality TV, whatever. Don't say yes! Like, what?
Don't say yes. You will never be able to let that down. You'll never be able to let that down.
He picked the bitch over you that you said. That will tell me a lot about who you are as a person. And then you like, what? It was like I don't remember like the first season very well, but I don't remember back-to-back things where someone was between two people and I was like, they made the wrong choice immediately. Micah choosing Paul over Kwame, I immediately was like, that was the wrong choice. I was like, that was the wrong choice immediately because y'all were vibing so much better, you and Kwame, than you and Paul were. I don't even remember how she changed her choice to Paul and then just rejected Kwame the way she did. And then but Zach choosing Irina over Bliss was just like, it was mind-bogglingly like, oh my God, this is the worst decision I've ever seen on this show. It was embarrassing.
It was very bad. It was very bad. Trey saying who's the girl that broke off the engagement and kept the ring. That was
the one that he was saying was pissing him off because she went on the coffee date.
Yeah.
Jackie?
Jackie, yes. I forget these people's names.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yes, and I really liked Jackie to begin with. Like,
I did too.
First started in the pods, I was like, she is so pretty. She seems like as normal as you can be being on this show. And then she just got weirder and weirder and weird. And then it was just like, I mean, I felt so bad when she was saying, oh, I'm usually attracted to the exact opposite of him. I would never go for him in the real world. And then like,
me and the missus, when we saw that, I was like, oh, that's the red herring. This ain't gonna work. No. That was the red herring.
Like, what? And why would you say that? You could have just been like, oh, he's usually not my type, but I love him. What? Like, why would you say? Y'all are embarrassing yourselves. Like, I can't.
Let us know when you catch up fully on it, SP3, because there's more stupidity to come on this season. The reunion is something that, for largely bad reasons, that
they better ever do another damn live reunion again.
No, it was terrible live. It was terrible, and not having Jackie there didn't help the reunion either, because she was able to get away with too much.
Yeah, way too much.
Anything else we need to hit here, lady and gent?
I don't think so. Did you catch my kid trolling me on our first episode of our show?
No. What happened?
So Reed, you've met Reed, so you understand. He's an asshole. through the entire show, he kept saying, like, so we kind of just did like an introductory. So I'm like asking them who their favorite wrestlers are and what their favorite wrestling show that we've gone to and stuff is. Reed just makes every answer about Hulk Hogan to piss me off. And then he would look at me to see what my reaction would be. And I told him before we started that he couldn't say, because he gets in trouble for saying D's nuts all the time. So I told him that he couldn't say that. So he was mouthing it into the camera. I look over and he's going into the camera. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. And one of my friends watched it and she was like, your kids are so opposite. Like Camden's there and Reed's so fucking chaotic. And I'm like, I know. But he loves being in front of the camera. He was all about it. And he's like, when can we film another one? I'm like, well, we have to watch a week's worth of wrestling before we can film another one.
That sounds awful.
That's awesome.
Watching
I love it.
week's worth of wrestling.
We watched like 30 minutes of Raw. That's enough.
Yeah,
I got the kids doing a bit to piss off the wife of like, how many royal families are there in wrestling? And they go, more than one. And she didn't like the Cody Rhodes thing. So Cody's on the TV last night and the kids come in and they're like, Mom, do you like that guy? And she's like, I'm like, that's the more than one guy right there. And they're like, oh, that's the more than one guy. And they'll forget this next week. Like, we like him. They're like, Mom, why don't you like him? Why don't you like the more than one guy? She just looks
more than one.
Yeah, the more than one guy.
Yeah, my kids.
That's Cody Rhodes' new name.
Reed argued with me that Cody won at WrestleMania, and I'm like, okay, but who walked out with the belt? And he's like, but that doesn't matter because they cheated. And they like kept going on and on and on about it. I'm like, okay, I can't do this with you. Like, train.
Hear it, my God.
Yes.
Braun Strowman train.
More than one. More than one guy.
That's his name. That's the more than one guy.
Yeah, me. Reed, who's your favorite wrestler? Reed. Hulk Hogan. Little asshole. I'm getting so pissed off. Literally, when I ended the video, I'm like staring into the camera. Just my soul has left my body because I was getting so mad. And then he's like, hold on, I'll show you how he does a leg drop, and like gets up to do a leg drop. I'm like, stop.
That's hilarious.
He and I can do leg drops. I infamously did the Psychosis leg drop, so we can do some leg drops together.
There you go.
There you go.
How about powerbombed him in a restaurant? Who were Sean and I beating up at the hotel? They're both kicking us.
Yeah, they're both kicking, but it was Reed because Reed doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Like you could beat Reed's ass and he's coming back from work. He doesn't stop.
Yeah, Sean and I were about to put him through one of those tables at the hotel.
Yeah. When I took them to Lexington one time last year, I don't remember what it was for. Sean, we were eating outside at a restaurant and Sean kept throwing them over the railing and telling me they were eliminated from
the Royal Rumble. Yeah. That ruled.
I'm crying right now because Mrs. Jeremy just messaged me. I just saw it. She said, I turned on FMC at 8:42 and you were just going off. She was like, did y'all start at 8:30 and you just were going? She was like, I went all the way to Walmart at 8:47 and you were still going.
I messaged her because she had to take the kids to school, and I was like, SP3 is on one, and she's like, I was just texting. I turned it on at 8:42, and he was going because he'd been going since 8:30. Like we did start a little bit late, but like that was still legitimately like 9 minutes, like 9 minutes to open this show. Oh, SP3 is very excited that the Lakers are up 3-1. So he did a whole sermon on the Lakers. I'm not lying. That was a sermon with a musical interlude and everything. I am not lying.
Did you guys stop for a prayer? Did you take a collection?
SP3 took everybody to church.
Oh, that's the next week. That's next
I'm
week.
telling
If we get the job done, you just called it, Chair. You just called it. We're gonna take collections.
I'm telling you, if the Lakers win first round, I have no idea what's going to happen. They win the title. This show is. I'm not going to be here. Magic Johnson. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to just let SP3 cook. Let him take everybody to church.
Send him the link. Put him on the stream.
Yep. That's what's going to happen. That's 100% what's going to happen. I will not appear if the Los Angeles Lakers win the 2023 NBA championship. You will not see me on the. And you know what we'll even do? This might actually be a little bit more difficult because my schedule is stupid now. I was gonna say, like, we will do a show the day after they win. So if they win on a Tuesday, nobody has to wait a week for SP3 to do it. Like, we will do a show the day after, even if we got to do a special episode at like 5:00 or something. If it's on a Wednesday or whatever, we'll figure it out. If the Lakers win the title, yeah, we're just gonna let it. And I'm not gonna show up. I'll be backstage. I'm just gonna let SP3 go. That's gonna be the whole. That's gonna be the whole show
for 3 hours.
Go as long as you want. I don't give a shit. As long as you want.
Oh man, that was great. that popped me. That message just popped me.
Share Delaware, where can the people find you at?
You can find me on the Twitter at Share Delaware, and we recorded Strong Style last week, so it should be up at some point.
I thought it was going to be up on Sunday. This was not a Jeremy Lambert call. Somebody did this whenever you tell Sean of like, hey, I don't know where it's at, tell him don't blame me. I thought it was going to be up on Sunday.
I don't know. All I do is show up to record and send all of the pictures because I can't be trusted to edit it. So
I'll talk to Joel.
But literally the pictures just have to be inserted.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he gets that figured out because it needs to go up probably tomorrow at the very latest.
I think Tim edits it. So that
regardless, whoever edits it, it should go up tomorrow at the very latest.
Okay. I did apologize to everyone for it being late. So, you know. But I also went off.
Got a life, Share Delaware.
I went off on like a 10-minute thing about how Carmela's like the only person that has actual style that doesn't have to have a stylist. So it's true.
Seems accurate.
SP3, where can the people find you at?
You can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs, smoking on dubs. No, you can find me.
You gotta get the lyrics right.
That's how you can find me.
You gotta get the lyrics right.
You can find me at True Hill SP3. I think I got an interview coming up this coming week on True Hill Heat, so stay tuned for that. You can go over, subscribe to that YouTube channel, and coming soon to Fightful Overbooked, me and Shares One Tree Hill tier list. We're doing it this week. We're filming it this week. It's dropping soon. Trust me.
We are.
There we go. All right. Everybody, keep supporting everything we're doing here at Fightful Overbooked. We have a lot going on. There'll be new episode of New Japan Bread Club later on this afternoon with Matt and Kieran. That'll be up, later on this afternoon in the Weeds, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday with myself and Joel Pearl. Last week, we interviewed Deanna Perrazzo. This week, we interviewed Steve Macklin. We have an interview with Josh Bishop as well, working on some other stuff for this week. That's draft.
Did you interview Steve Macklin after our interview with Mark?
Yes, and we didn't. So I'll tell you off air. Yeah. I should have asked about that, but I'll tell you off air. But yes, we interviewed.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, we interviewed Macklin yesterday. And of course, we interviewed Mark Long last week. But the Mark Long interview went up yesterday. So everybody please check that out as well. Yeah. Really fun time with Mark Long. A lot of stuff going on here on Fightful Overbooked. We got new stuff every single day. Yes, coexisting with Rob and Maggie on Fridays. Tag Talk with Haley and Kylie on Mondays. And it's just stuff every day. All right, everybody, just keep it locked here. Go to Fightful.com, go to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe. We'll be back. Newsworthy is canceled. Joel and I used to record that show Friday morning. And now, of course, we do In the Weeds Friday morning. And I already do 3 shows with Joel Pearl. I do not need to do more with him. So we talk about the news now Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We don't need to do Newsworthy. If there's something that I want to talk about on that from like an article that I've written, I'll just talk about it on In the Weeds. So we're no longer doing Newsworthy. Maybe we do it as like a once a month type thing, just to, for the nostalgia act of it. But yeah, that's not going to be weekly anymore. Joel and I do 3 shows a week now. I don't feel like anybody will miss Newsworthy. It was a fun show, but I don't feel like anybody will miss it with all the other stuff we got going on. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. SP3 will have a new sermon to give everybody. Bye, everyone.